Okay.
Morning, people. As you know that the Big R is the company that specializes in financial services, anything that has to do with finance. But more importantly, we are emphasizing on the principles of the positive ROIs. We say whenever you want to succeed as a person, you have to do that. As I said, we are in finance, but finance cut across. We also do sports. Let me welcome my colleagues, Mkhonza and Jacob Selematsela. And then just before we started, colleagues, I need to make you aware of the fact that I'm currently talking to Bloemfontein Celtics to see whether can we have Bloemfontein Celtic participating in our platforms from various departments. I was speaking to the PRO now, Silondona, and then I must say, let me take this opportunity to send the condolences to his family. Apparently, they have lost a family member this morning at 9:30. So they are busy with those preparations. So we hope that everything will go well, and may the soul rest in peace. Okay. Roy, welcome to the show. How are you doing? How was your weekend?
Evening.
So
to you, Saubrey and Jacob.
Yes.
My weekend was good, quiet. Can't complain.
Yeah. Mine was a little bit hectic, in the sense that one of my, client, whom I established a very good relationship with, passed on Saturday. So I'm currently engaging with the family, and see how far can we go. Those things do happen. Sometimes we forget that there are two realities in life: birth and death. All the time, whenever death has happened, it's a shock. It's unbelievable. We cannot accept. But that's the reality, that we need to face with. And one thing that I believe in, I think these words are also being directed to Silondona, the PRO of Celtics. God does not make a mistake. We have our plans, and God has his plan. But God's plan is always perfect. God knows what he's doing. So sometimes we need to accept. Sometimes I always argue and say, if death does not happen in your family, where should it happen? Because we are all the same. So in that way, that was not a good week for me. As I said, the person that I work with very closely happened to pass on, and then now lately, Londona sent me a message that they have lost a family member. So it wraps up my week. But nevertheless, we continue, we soldier on. Gentlemen, and then on the positive note, I got a call from Arthur's yesterday, late yesterday, around about 4:30 or so, telling me that he's in PE. He's coming back tomorrow. And then we are planning to profile him as a person. Me and Arthur come a long way. And we still want to rekindle that relationship. Remember, relationship is one of those positive ROIs. And the good news, things are happening, things are coming. One of my friends that I happen to know, as I was doing this financial education all over the country, he has been appointed as the chief executive officer of Black Leopards. We are going to profile him, and then we are also talking to see how can we, engage Black Leopards and give them publicity. So far, those are the good news. Now, on the international front, I don't know who wants to start.
Because you can start, my brother. Because you can start.
So, I didn't follow much of the international games.
No, you can also do ours.
Yeah. But what I did on Friday, I followed up on. I watched the whole game.
Yeah.
Bafana Bafana. Luckily today, see, this technology helps. Having fiber sometimes helps. I was able to watch the game on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, good. Good.
With the link that was provided. But I must still say that having had the discussion we had before the game and what happened then and today's performance, I'm really not happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only positive outcome I'll talk about from is the response. You saw this guy scored. They were the first to score from a corner kick.
Okay.
And from Bafana side, then we saw that they could realize that this is a game that they can lose. What I love is the positive spirit from everyone, showing sense of urgency that we need to respond. So, and when the game was 2-2, you could see that they still want it. And it just showed that back in their minds is that the 3 point is more important. Before the game of Ghana and the other one, they must at least secure these 6 points, which we spoke about, that the 6-pointer is very important.
Yeah.
So when they scored the last 2 goals, I'm not sure if we really need to take these guys for some cleansing. Kaizer Chiefs players, Manyama hit the ball, one-on-one, he's missed. I don't know. If really on the mentality now is very low, I'm not sure. But I just like the last goals that Mshishi and Tao scored. They really showed that behind their heads and their minds, the coaches told them that we need these 3 points, guys. There's no other way about it. And at least they showed everyone was actually pushing for the last goal, because I was following some comments on Facebook. Some were saying when it was 75th minute, they said no, it's gone. It's going to end up as a draw. But it came. Those 2 goals, because of the effort, 2 goals came. So that's the only thing. But I'm just worried. If we play like this, maybe it's a good lesson for the unity of the players and the coach to understand them. But it's just that if we're going to play against Ghana like this, then we're going to be punished.
Okay, Jackie, what's your take?
Yeah, Mr. Mkhonza, I definitely do agree with the sentiments. One thing for sure, remember on Friday, we spoke about the game and then we said it's a 6-pointer and we can't accept anything than 6 points. Yes, they've delivered the 6 points. I predicted the score to be 3-0, so it ended up as 2-0, of which we accepting. But if you look at the play itself, the combinations, I mean, the first game that was over the weekend, I mean, on Friday, the combination was not there at all. Things changed in the second half, especially after the introduction of Zwane. I think there was a very good cohesion.
Zwane or Zungu?
Zungu,
I
yes.
think it was Zungu.
Yeah, it was Zungu, yes. So Zungu marshaled the midfield very brilliantly. and I could see that he was very confident and very relaxed. And then the team started to click from there on. And if you can look at a player like Tau, he's forever hungry. He's a workaholic. He's such a workhorse.
Yeah.
And I always admire him, and I always even think that if we could have another 10 players or another 11 players playing the very same way like Tau, with that passion, with that hunger, I'm definitely sure that we will be able to go back to #1 in Africa. And today, unfortunately, I couldn't watch the game because I was still traveling. I was still traveling from work. But I just saw a clip in terms of the goals. Yes, I see that the hunger was there, but still I agree with Mr. Mkhonza. If we really could we'll keep on playing like that, Ghana will show us flames. But another aspect that I also want to highlight is the fact that there was another big game that was playing, between Zimbabwe against Algeria. That was another 6-pointer, that one. And the game ended at 2-2 draw. And it was a tough game. And another surprise that took place as well, I was really shocked to realize that South Sudan beat Angola 1-0. No, I mean, beat Uganda 1-0. I didn't expect that one, but you know what? It happened. Well, with Malawi and Burkina Faso and Swatini, those are all the draws that played. Back to international, I was really impressed with there's a game award for Europa, UEFA Champions game or Champion League or something. I watched Ronaldo there, and
no, let's start with Africa. Let's start with Africa. We'll go to international. Let's start with Africa and see. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And let's go to #1 in Africa, which is Senegal. Senegal, I'm taking it, they've already qualified. They played very well, and then they won. And I think they won 1-0, if I'm not mistaken. So really, I'm happy with the 6 points that we collected. And now the biggest challenge is to make sure that we beat Ghana. We must beat Ghana so that we can be able to qualify. That is another 6-pointer that you must play on. We need to win that one. Yeah. So hopefully by then, most of the players will be back. I mean, we need those aerial players who will be able to assist the captain there, especially in the air. And I must also say, I'm really surprised, if not flabbergasted, by the performance of our former captain, that is Dean Ferman. Dean Ferman is very good. Make no mistake, there's sheer class. The guy is marshalling the midfield very well. Look at the champagne pass that he passed today. He contributed in the goals. And I think the combination between Tau and Zwane and Zungu, it's amazing. It's amazing. What we need to do now, we need to make sure that we reinforce the midfield. We stamp our authority on our opponents. We score those goals. We mustn't wait for them to score first, then we equalize. We must show them the way. Yeah, in a nutshell, that's all I can say so far about our games that took place over the weekend.
Well, I know that, Roy, you have raised your hands. I don't know whether you want to add something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to say something on the Friday's game. I was speaking to some guy that if you watch the game from when it started, for an example, Jacob has just brought something now that clicked my mind. If you watch the first half, the first 15 and 20 minutes, or even the larger part of the first half, 30 minutes before halftime, every ball that this guy, our guy from Kaizer Chiefs was getting, Manyama, was losing every ball. But come second half, every move that we scored, whether it's a set piece, so the interchanges of passes between him, Zungu, Jao, they were making moves. So I'm just picking up on the point that if the coach could notice the combinations, I think we just need to be consistent and maintain, because at least now we can see, because as you were saying, if the interpasses between Manyama, Zungu, and Tau, those guys, they play the football, the South African football style, and they can take any team. So if they could be consistent and now understand that I'm a new coach, I've just adopted a team, but maintain the consistency, that at least if you build upon something, then you could get those things where, like the guy who got injured and he had to be replaced. Those are circumstances that you can't do anything about it. But your guys that at least now understand your philosophy, keep them at least, so that we get the momentum going forward. If we want to compete with the top teams, like I was saying, teams like Ghana, they'll come. And remember, if you go to Ghana, you've got, they don't, it's not a talk about if you talk development. Those are structures that are there in Ghana, whether it's in the Bundus, but they have those things. So for us, it's just a matter of now. I think the pool of players that we have there, the fact that they are young and they still want, they are hungry, I think the coach must just maintain that.
Guys, I've listened to you. I also watched the games. Let's start on Thursday. Firstly, I think there's improvement in South African football. I've seen a lot of improvement. Remember, that's my opinion, eh? And my opinion does not mean I'm correct. And by saying this, I want to say to supporters out there, if you have a different view, you are allowed. Just subscribe and just ask to participate. And then we'll call you to participate in our, Zoom event. So I saw a very good football. And what I like, the players selected are across the teams. In the past, the players will always be centered around few teams in the country. So now you see players being selected all over, which for me is a plus. And I see development because we have new players, young players play. Gone are the days of us seeing Parker, seeing Saubrey Tshabalala, seeing Kune. I'm not saying I have a problem with those players. If they are on form, why not? Let them play. Yes, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is heading towards 40. He's still banging goals. But you know what? There is no birthright to be in the national squad. So players need to know that if they don't compete, they will lose their place. So on that note, I'm very, very encouraged. And then on the Manyama, as you said, I think Manyama still has to improve on timing the offside trap. A good player is a player who's good with basics. The trapping is important. Ball control is important. Offside is important, you see. But if you have a player who cannot time the offside, if you have a player who cannot control the ball well, the trapping is not well, first touch is not well, that is a problem. But in Manyama's game, what I've seen, it's something that he needs to work on. Remember, he can take what I'm saying or he cannot take it. He needs to work on timing his runs so that they always don't catch him with the offside trap. That's the only thing I can say thus far with the squad. I think that they are doing well. They are coming up, which is quite encouraging. All right. And then before we leave, I just want us to wrap the topic that we started on Friday, just a bit, 5 minutes. The one of the leadership of SAFA. Jacob, I heard you saying people like Lucas, people like Benny McCarthy should be brought to the leadership. I don't dispute that. It's very important. They must be brought to the leadership. But they must be introduced gradually. All right? Because I can say from somewhere else, where's Lucas led any organization? He was just a captain of Kaizer Chiefs. He was just a captain of Leeds. All right? And then I'm saying people like Lucas, they must be brought to the squad. and be groomed to take over. All right. I'm not against that opinion. All right. For me, you know, people must be slowly incorporated into structure so that they can learn the ropes. Like I said, I like what Dr. Mkhonza said, that this is my last 4 years at the helm of PSL. It's time now to groom new people to come over. I think that's the kind of spirit that needs to be done. It's not about you having been the captain or being the coach. It's an organization now that you are running, which has so many dynamics. So you need to be multi-skilled, all right, in leading the organization. That's it. I don't know what's your take, just in short, before we close that debate.
Let me have a bite.
Yes.
I think Friday we debated about Kuhn. At least the coach, it's like he had us that no, you can't put that guy. It's rusty, man. It's right at the bench. Right for motivation. You must stay at the bench. But what I'm saying on the point you just raised now, let me just give you on the corporate side. I think you deal with corporates and clients.
Yeah.
Work-wise. You see, we are 22 years on the corporate side in terms of work. We're still talking equity. And companies with the background, they know where we come from, and they know for the companies to move forward, they need to introduce equity so that it's in. But if we are resistant in doing that, we'll ever, it's like kicking the ball, kicking the can. So same thing with Bafana Bafana. The old guards, we appreciate their contribution, but it can't be just talk that at some point we'll leave. But while we are still there, let's see, for an example, remember how Tovi went there and the politics had to take place. At some point, the same Lucas, they were lobbying around that no, at some point they want to take over. But even when then there's actions that at least there's some people who want to take initiative. Bring them in, bring them closer to say, you don't start at the top, you start from here, and then we will groom you. So I think it must now stop being a talk shop. Then the old guard must start inviting people, take them along, so that at least they grow within the organization.
Okay. Jackie?
Just to add on that, Mr. Tshabalala, right now as we speak, what I'm doing at work, like this week, started from last week, I'm doing what you call skills audits, meaning that now I'm assessing each and every individual, each and every employee. We are plus minus 70 in that company. I'm assessing each and every individual skills. What skills do they have? Because the main objective is to make sure that I include what we call succession plan, and I also include what we call personal development plan, including the KPIs. So I believe that from day one, when you start any company, any institution, you need to implement such. That will be able to assist you to be able to know exactly, to gauge yourself, to gauge the organization. Where are we in terms of getting the leadership ready? Where are we in terms of improving things within the company? Look at the situation that happened with Tovi. How did he end up being in the technical committee of SAFA? There were so many politics. So all I'm saying is that it's good that we've got people like Dr. Mkhonza saying that now he is going to include other people. So I think that that kind of an option, it's long overdue. It should have been done 4 or 5 years ago. And then it means that now our players, look at all our players that were playing, that won the AFCON in 1994, 1996. Most of them, we don't know where they are. We've got your team class, you've got your other coaches who are succeeding right now. So that's what we need to do. They must also make sure that they include themselves within the organization. They empower themselves, and that they become more knowledgeable. They attend courses, they do this and that, your UEFA or whatever. They start from here in Africa, and then they get experience. Once they've got that experience, then they'll be able to come gradually into the SAFA projects, just like that. But I'm not blaming people like Dr. Jenny Jordan for not doing 1, 2, 3. Even the players themselves, the ex-players, they must take accountability, because this is their product, this is their bread and butter. So they must make sure that they empower themselves. They go to school, they learn things so that they can be able to do things on their own. So it's not only the responsibility of SAFA to empower them, they must just be given opportunities so that they can be able to empower themselves, and then they can be able to deliver the goods within all these national team structures. Yes, I agree with you that it's not all about being a captain of Kaizer Chiefs or Leeds or anything like that. What is it that you are doing for the country? Or what is it that you have done for the country as well? So right now, I'm just disappointed with Lucas. Is not, I don't see him much in terms of contribution within the structures in the country, whether it's in the townships or anything like that. I don't know. I might be wrong or right, but I think he needs to do more, and they need to make sure that they associate themselves with the right people. Right people, I mean, from the township, in the Dusty Street of Alexander, Dusty Street of Tembisa. Yes, my brother Yecheris Kosana, he's all over. He's doing everything. He's all over. KZN, wherever, he's doing everything in terms of development. So if that can happen, I can tell you, Dawood, in terms of succession plan, we will be able to create good leaders. We have people. Look at people like Maximo Punyane. Those people are knowledgeable. They've got skill. They've played the game. They will contribute something in the team. It can be in a national team, or it can be in the lower structures or anything. But the fact is that they will be able to contribute something if they do things.
Now let's move on. I hear what you are saying. The other thing that is very important, people should raise their hands. We cannot just follow you and say, come, you should raise your hand. Exactly. Then to be fair enough, SAFA has started the coaching programs. Remember guys, CV is not what you write. CV is what you did.
Yes.
Track record is important, all right? So I was not saying in a nasty way when I say Lucas has never led a big organization.
Yes.
That we know. That's a CV. But it would be positive for Lucas to start joining a SAFA at this stage. Benny McCarthy, all those things. Now, let me tell you something. This program, we are more educational, all right? That is why we are called the Big R. When you read, there's a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He talked about this guy, Barnes, who idolized Thomas Edison. He just dreamt that one day I'm going to be a partner of Thomas Edison. Now, guess what he did? He took a train all the way. Thomas Edison was far, to go and try to ensure that he works with Thomas Edison. When he arrived there, Thomas Edison did not take note of him, but he insisted that he wants to see him, all right? And then, as you know, big guns, they have PAs and so on, and they were trying to discourage him. Then he insisted until Thomas Edison said, allow him to see him. Then he said, very boldly, I want to be your partner. All right, listen to that one. I want to be your partner. Now, Thomas Edison said, what skills do you have? He said, anything. All right. He gave him a job that wasn't matter anything to Thomas Edison. But what encourages Barnes was the fact that he was going to work close to Thomas Edison's office, doing that job, which was not important to Thomas Edison. But what kept him going was the fact that every day he sees him. You get a point? So he kept on going. He kept on going, and the dream never died. So one day, by chance, Thomas Edison had, come up with, I think it's a telephone. And all his salespeople say, this thing won't sell. Then Barnes said, I'll sell it. Right? Then Thomas Edison said, prove it. He went out and outsold the salespeople. There and there, Thomas Edison gave him a contract that from now on, you are going to be my salesman. Then a slogan came made by Thomas Edison, sold by Barnes. Partnership. You raise your hands, CV, that's what I'm talking about. Your curriculum vitae. Curriculum vitae is what you did.
Yes.
All right? So I'm saying the old players, they must, I'm looking at Pito now. I'll never be shocked one day Pito come back and say, I want to be director of coaching for Bafana. Who will dispute that?
No one.
Because it's a CV, a curriculum vitae, that you are right. So that is why I'm saying these guys, they need to start now raising their hands and then write their own curriculum vitae. But nevertheless, we are almost done. Let me just give you the live scores currently. Botswana have just won against Zambia. The game has just ended, 1-0. And then Gambia, they are leading 2-0 at 84 minutes against Gabon. And then the game between Cameroon and Mozambique has just ended. The score ended at 2-0. And then to South Sudan, they won their game 1-0 against Uganda. And then Bafana, they've won their game today 4-2 against Sao Tome Principe. And then Malawi played 0-0 with Burkina Faso. Eswatini played 0-0 to Congo. So those are the games for AFCON. You know what? As much as we want to give information, but at the same time, we need to also start debating some of the issues. If you are a fan out there, you want to contribute, remember, we are not the monopoly of knowledge, all right? And then we become clever by hearing other views of other people. So just click there, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then just raise your hands, as I've said, and say, I want to participate. Leave us a message, we'll contact you, especially when we do the club football. Gentlemen, your parting words before we leave. Who starts first?
Okay, I will start. It's okay.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for the opportunity. It's very meaningful, educational, and entertaining as well. I'm really happy with the fact that this platform is open for everyone who loves football, who wants to contribute. Bafana, there's a lot of improvement. We are coming, and let's keep on supporting them. Let's not be afraid also to criticize them if they're not doing the right thing. But I'd like us to criticize them not destructively, but constructively. It's very important because that's our asset. We must retain that particular asset for the future. And to the big R, thank you for the platform again. Mr. Mkhonza, thank you very much for your knowledge. And some of us, we are learning a lot from you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Jackie. Much appreciated. Let's hear Mr. Mkhonza.
Thank you.
No, thanks, Jacob, for the acknowledgement. Mine, Saubrey, will just to say, from what we've done up to so far and today's session, to say, from the big R, I've just learned something today. Actually, it's not something that I learned, but it's something that actually is keeping everyone on toes in terms of lives, in terms of progression. That it's only your CV, experience, and happenings of the past that takes you somewhere. So if we'll have that, whether it's in football, whether it's anywhere, because no miracle that will just happen without any if. We'll need to show up for something to happen. That's what I could say. That's what I pick up from today's show, that at least as we give those inputs, moreover on our SAFA, but at some point, the ones that we are seeing have potential must also rise up and show they want it, and they must have something in. For example, going and doing those UEFA certificates, it shows that at some point, going to the regions, Jacob was speaking about going to the locations, involve yourself, like what Jerry is doing. At least it shows you've got passion, you want to do something.
Yes. You have mentioned one positive, 2 R words, rise. Secondly, raise your hand. You know, they need to continue to use all those positive R words, reflect and review, you know, and check the results. Am I doing right? Remember, you can always not win, all right? But win does not mean you have lost. It's only team sport that win, all right? Not compared to when you play alone. You know, people who are competitive, they always emphasize on win, all right? And then the people who are more of a team, they emphasize on collectiveness. So guys, thank you very much. You know, you enrich me all the time. You might be wondering, where do I get the energy? This one, I don't know whether you see it. The Moringa. Big R Moringa.
Yes.
And 20 tablets.
Yes.
Will give you energy.
Thank you.
All right.
Good stuff.
Brandon with Big
Thank
R.
You,
that's it.
Yes.
And then I take them all the time. I take 10 capsules a day. They give me energy. So anyone who wants them, contact us. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And then till we talk again on Friday, and hopefully I'll have Silonduna on Wednesday. Maybe all this have not yet disturbed him. I hope I'll be able to talk to him.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.